How you shouldn't read current affairs. So for any competitive exam, current affairs plays the key role. Like 50% of the exam goes with the current affairs. So apart from English or quant or general static knowledge, current affairs, the trending topics are all quite important. So usually what mistakes I have done and what shouldn't be repeated, I would like to discuss right now. So the sources of current affairs are like generally we assume as a student that everyone tells us to read newspaper, so we read newspaper. So here is the newspaper. I read newspaper as such for more than 6 months continuously. I used to read the same way here as you can find. Just open the newspaper, reading the article and writing down the important points over there. For suppose you see here over yes, it's about COVID and all. So I didn't avoid anything. I just went on reading the newspaper. For suppose over here there is about GST to address inflation, interest rate. If it is increased, then inflation also increases. So I wrote something, the concept which I understood. I wrote it there itself, but that is wrong. Okay, so going through the newspaper is also an art. And you see another newspaper over here. For suppose here it is given someone got gold. So I made what is meant by quadrennial. That's not actually required, but you go towards that sort of inclination to learn about meanings of the words rather than the content. And who got gold, who got silver, etc. I highlighted, but that doesn't actually make sense. Okay, you need to again rewrite them, or you need to make a note of them in some other quick form so that you can revise them immediately. And here also you see trade related aspects of intellectual property rights. So I just went through the article, I underlined. So for me it is giving a sense of completion, but it's not actually true. Even this article, so whatever article, I'm just going through them. You see, these are the highlighted portions of editorials. I read them very diligently. I used to understand them a lot. You can see the highlights also. So this is not just a paper, but rather than for more than 6 months I tried making reading the paper in such a way. Okay, even here also you see, I mean, I don't find much time every day to read the newspaper, but somehow for the sense of completion I used to go through the paper and finished it off. I used to highlight everything, but at the end of the day or at the end of the week, if I just still sit down and try to recall what I have read, I didn't get any glimpse of what I have actually gone through. So these are why I have even read these all sort of stuff, but because I don't even remember anything. This really hurted me whenever I kept the pile of newspapers all I have read after highlighting. Some I used to make notes out of, but mostly I used to follow Byju's daily news analysis and then followed by this newspaper reading, but then I found it's all quite futile. Okay, so you see, I made notes of I highlighted, but I didn't make notes actually, because I felt like I will just go through the newspaper, I will highlight the content, I will then go through the magazine, because magazine also covers the important aspects of newspaper. Then I thought while reading in the magazine, it gives me a sense of recall. Okay, so I may get to just it strikes in my mind that earlier I have read this article, so on, so from the newspaper, so that I can match the things like that. So no need of making notes out of newspaper, because it's really hectic. Reading newspaper itself is consuming a lot of time. So I just highlighted, and some I even took photos. This is quite bad idea. Okay, I mean, I used to snap pics. I used to take my camera, I mean the mobile, in the mobile itself I have a lot of newspaper clippings, rather than cutting the articles which we would never take. I know even the pictures which we clicked also we don't take at all. We don't find time actually. So that is also a bad idea. I read like this. Many articles I read. So this is really bad idea. You see how difficult it is to make notes, and I have literally gone through them, but I don't know anything of them, because while I was cleaning my room, I keep the newspapers under the shelves for cleanliness. Okay, so then I understood that this is the wrong way actually, because I don't remember any of the word written over here. For example, you see, plants appear to be simple enough in their organization. That small shops are always only one sport has required very personality traits. They cannot run but ably defend themselves. So how the author started, and what is the central idea, core idea he is doing here, I don't have any idea. I just wanted the newspaper to be completed on that day. Even this minute parts also, something like science and technology, I thought. So this is quite difficult. Rhizobacteria, plant growth promoters. You just get a common sense reading the newspaper in this way. But we want to we need to read the newspaper for the exam point of view, not like a common citizen. Literally this boils my blood, because I read very hard every inch and nitty-gritty of the newspaper, but that doesn't make sense at all in the end. Lot of newspapers I completed every day, and on one Sunday, like every Sunday, I would just see if I completed the newspaper portion of that day. Else I would read them again. I would complete them. If at all there is any doubt, I will just take the photos for the sense of completion. But I lately realized that I am cheating myself. This is like tax devolution, 42% share to the states and center. So what are the mistakes I have done? You see, I used to follow Byju's daily news analysis, which is a wrong idea. Newspaper completion, I kept the target of newspaper completion, didn't make the note making. I felt like magazine reading would be suffice. So, and then I even heard over the law excellence Telugu current affairs videos also. So nothing worked, literally nothing worked. So I discovered the ways not to do. I discovered the ways the newspaper not to be read. This is quite bad on my part, but now I will tell you how you should actually read the newspaper. First, as I have mentioned you, previous year questions. There are two uses of previous year questions. Firstly, you have to focus on the keywords from the previous year questions to identify the priority topics of UPSC with respect to current affairs and also static. And then the second usage is to analyze your mock tests. So write the mock tests on the previous year questions itself so as to match with the standards of UPSC. So the first usage is to focus on the keywords. You need to jot down all the keywords that fall under particular syllabus word. So that is the most required part, and you will get a bulk of the book for every paper. Now you will get an idea of which newspaper article falls under which part of the syllabus, and within that which keyword of the syllabus especially. For suppose you previously would have gone through this and said that okay, this is something what is this, Visakhapatnam's lands will be with the center even after its sale. So initial mistake is you just randomly go through the article and you just forget it. That's not to be done. Then if improved, you will say that this belongs to GS3 economy. Even that's also bad idea. Then what is the necessity? You just need the focus point over here is 42% tax devolution. This is the key focus point. This must be there in your notes. Under which part? Under the part of tax center state financial relations. Okay, this falls under economy, public finance concept, economy. So this much clarity you need to have under economy subject in the lesson of public finance. This is the syllabus word. public finance, you can see that word in the syllabus. Within that, as you have classified or segregated different topics that fall under this word, particularly by looking at the previous year questions. Now under which part of previous year questions this sort of concept falls under, and the central idea is the dispute. So center state 42% tax devolution is okay, fine, but what is the new aspect you are able to do? Are you able to find out the new aspect here? New aspect in the sense something out of box. It's not like random reading the stuff. Any newly you have to think over. So the point of discussion over here is that despite having this constitutional regime where the taxes ought to be devolved between center and states, that is the legal ground, but yet some states are encroaching upon the center tax collection issues, or center encroaching upon the state rights. That is the point of discussion. That is to be the key point where you need to focus on, not about these all sand trade, mafia and debts, whereas where AP government is putting the state in lot of debts and the political disparaging each other. Not that stuff. Maximum in newspaper only this stuff is written, but you need to focus on the key core idea over here, and then you need to search on the internet why, for how far center is responsible for devolution of taxes to the states, what are the other aspects of devolution, why these such sort of disparities are arising. This is all known as analyzing. This is mere reading, okay? You have gone through the article, this is mere reading, but analyzing is what is to be done. From the newspaper article, the first thing you need to do is under which part of the syllabus, under which key focus word from the previous year questions this article falls under, and the second question is to questioning. So first part is mapping with the previous year question keyword, and the second aspect you need to do from a newspaper article is to question, and that is nothing but analyzing, questioning how, why, when, where, what, which all are related to this aspect. You need to think out of box. To be frank, it is like think out of box. So the key core idea, you need to observe the key core idea over here, which is nothing but the tax devolution, not about these political mafia. They are criticizing each other. The key core idea you need to focus on, which is tax devolution, and you need to identify under which part of the syllabus, under which key focus word of the previous year questions it falls under. Then you need to analyze the whole topic. This takes lot of time, for which you need to go through the internet. So mere random completing the newspaper, of course it definitely gives you a sense of reading the newspaper every day, completing the newspaper, so it gives you a sense of completion that you will be feeling wholehearted, but it doesn't matter at all in the end. That's what I am saying. You feel that I have read the newspaper today, I am okay, I am done, but that is completely wrong notion. You don't read the newspaper entirely. Just pick one article, go through it, delve into it, identify to which part of the syllabus it fits in, and then identify the key core idea and analyze it. In the term means questioning. Analyze it in means questioning. Just don't go through the article. Newspaper is only to pick out questions. Newspaper is a source to brainstorm your mind. Newspaper is the source for questioning. Newspaper is not the source of information. You shouldn't take newspaper for information collecting and then remembering that information. That doesn't help at all. So from the newspaper, for an aspirant, it must be like analyzing the newspaper by questioning. That is the new thing that is to be done, okay? Otherwise you will be out of game, and a lot of time waste for you actually. So newspaper is not about collecting the information and memorizing it, note making it, nothing of that sort. You take one article, you just see to which part of the syllabus it falls under. This actually doesn't work, okay? This is waste of time. Just it says that there is a museum being built in Kakinada. That's it. This is not a point to be remembered. Actually, you find such fact-oriented content in magazines itself. So, analyzing part of articles you need to pick out from the newspaper. First, go through the whole newspaper, glimpse through the. I mean, just segregate the newspaper into different parts. Some are fact-oriented, some are analyzing-oriented. Especially editorials are analyzing-oriented. So, from them, you need to you need to just identify under which part of syllabus it falls under, and then now you need to make questioning. That is nothing but analyzing. Just get the source of it's like just a resource, but you need to do the extra work where newspaper doesn't find its way at all, and only internet is there. So what sort of questioning is to be done, that again depends on your capability. So especially these are like analysis part. Editorial parts are directly given as analysis, and you need to identify what are the key concepts, or for suppose if any author written for any newspaper article you have read, you need to understand what questions, for what questions answers are given here. I mean, generally this is like answers all over given, but you need to identify the questions. So questioning is quite very important. Questioning, it is nothing but analyzing. So questioning is very important. Okay, so you just avoid random reading of the newspaper. As I have said, how the newspaper is to be read, it is like identifying. First of all, segregate the topics, fact oriented and analysis oriented. Then you need to find the analysis topics, like they come under which part of the syllabus and which keyword exactly of the syllabus. And of course, as you can be aware that different keywords are also asked in different aspects. For example, in UPSC, for you take tax devolution itself, it is always asked in 3 to 4 angles, like the percentage share of tax devolution, or the court cases related to it, or the article behind it. Only those aspects are always asked. So you also read in such aspects only, the background, and then the percentage share, why it is like 42%. 1% is for Jammu and Kashmir, it is given already. So such sort of information you need to gather. Newspaper is just a resource for questioning, just a resource for questioning, just a resource. I mean, questioning is also from your brain itself. This is to be habituated by thinking a lot, by reading a lot, and questioning everything you read. You just question it yourself. For any article you read, it's like answer oriented article, but you need to find out the question for the article. Such sort of analysis is to be done. And as I have said earlier, you are going to the magazine. Even I went through the magazine, I read them. Again, this is also like random reading. I literally read them hard. As you can see over here, I made notes out of them, but again this doesn't work at all. So there shouldn't be any need for you to make such sort of printouts, because this is not how you are exactly remembering the stuff. Monthly magazine, every month magazine, I must memorize it, and nothing of that sort. It is very easy process once you have done the segregation which I have told, like keywords, entire keywords, the bulk of the syllabus which you have divided into the keywords. That is the first ultimate thing everyone says. Whatever the syllabus is there and the previous year questions are there, you need to map them in different aspects. Under every syllabus word, you need to get 20 to 50 key focus words, and these are the essential things. These are the most important things, and under such focus keywords you will get to understand what all newspaper articles, or whatever the stuff, the magazine articles, what all are falling under it. So going through this magazine is also, never take the printout of the magazine, rather you go through the information in the PDF form from the internet itself, and you make notes out of it by yourself. Maximum this will be like static content out of polity, so you have to be first strong on your polity basics, and then the key core idea you identify. Just as in the newspaper, here also you identify the key core idea, and you just reflect over it, like question it, analyze it, what are the different aspects that are introduced in this article, and then make a notes by yourself in the OneNote or make your hand notes to update it. Okay, so just a mere going through this article and trying to rot it, trying to memorize it doesn't make sense. Of course, this is also important. Rote learning is important, but if you end only with this, that doesn't actually make any sense. If you end only by rote learning the stuff, that is a lot of bulk to be remembered. That is really a very huge lot of information to remember this, which is quite impossible for anyone to memorize every month's articles, every month newspaper articles, every month magazines. This is very bad idea. Rather, you can make the exam process very simple once you are completely familiar or having a great hold over the syllabus topics and the previous year questions, mapping focus keywords. Once you get that bulk of information loaded in your head, immediately whenever you go through any random article, you read any newspaper article, or you hear over news, or you just go through any magazine or any article, you need to just get that striking point that this concept, this news in debate falls under particular focus word of the previous year questions. Okay, even if go with the ethics paper like Antaryami you read, so even that concept also, just don't read it, make that novel reading. You identify under which aspect that ethical issues come over, even here also. So there is nothing of that sort to memorize everything. Okay, even in schemes also you need to get that sort of thinking, like what exactly is the key focus core idea over here. We just randomly read that okay, LPC is being given to the poor people. You need to understand why only for poor people, why not for certain beyond income levels, why they are only facing the issues, why kerosene is not being made available for them. So this even matches with the economy environment part also. Apart from economy issue like subsidies and all, environment concern is also there. Kerosene lamps, free distribution of kerosene, they are diverting it for other uses, the dealers. So that is also an aspect to be dealt. So for suppose take about this LPG itself. For LPG itself, 10 rupees subsidy for the middle income group, as previously dad said. So this is not favorable at all. Whereas give up for the rich, give up scheme by the rich, such that the poor get access to the cylinders, and the kerosene is not being given because dealers are taking it apart. So here it is like clean energy, even environment concept is also coming, SDG 7. So such sort of linkage must be there. For suppose sand trade, this is, you just go about ending it like some political mafia, but you need to understand the environment concerns over it. I mean, where it is quite richly available near coastal areas, Krishna, Godavari, in such areas, and environment concerns, disaster management concerns, because you will have like landslides happening. And even if a sand is being sold away for in black, where this sand is exactly going for construction. So who are giving the permits for construction? Why they are not making any stricter laws over controlling this sand mafia? So this is like political aspect, this is like environment aspects, and this is like geographical aspect, because we need to identify under which locations these are richly available and which sort of sand is being utilized for construction. So such sort of brainstorming is required. This is all by questioning. You don't just merely read sand trade for 100 rupees 2 kgs of sand. No, that's not required. Rather, this sort of brainstorming, this sort of analyzing the content, questioning the content, that is to be done by yourself. So newspaper is just a resource for questioning. I mean, it's just a resource for on which topic to question, to identify the topic of key focus topic for syllabus and previous year question. And then also you need to have that sort of curiosity mind for questioning on the topic, analyzing the topic. Then you need to make notes. Even newspaper articles, whatever you go through the news paper articles or magazine or random news stuff, everything that must be boiled down to your own notes, that is in tune with the previous year questions, the bulk pages which we have made. So this sort of reading, this is nonsense. You read really hard, you took time and effort, but at the end it doesn't matter at all. It gives you a false sense of completion. But again, this is a bad idea, completely bad idea. You understand the things, then you need to segregate. For example, here cruise missiles itself, I made notes over here itself, but this is not the right way actually. You have to make notes separately in your own notes, in your own words, in one note. There you can easily update also. So you don't make bulk of all these books thinking that you will revise it again, going through the books. No, this is not actually good idea. Under the keywords, you need to keep everything under the keywords itself, under the syllabus word, under the keyword. Every news article must fall under, not like this random reading. You don't just go like this all comes under polity, this all comes under economy, just as this magazine gives polity topics covered, then economy topics covered. No, you yourself have to make idea. For example, here is your CBI versus states, but this is not actually the true idea. Under which part of the syllabus word it falls under, that is what you need to identify. Okay, waste to wealth, this is a content, but no, this is not exactly the word of our requirement. Under which part of the syllabus word it falls under, then you can memorize the syllabus very efficiently. Oral rules. Okay, just try to understand in what way he has covered the article. I mean, even in newspaper also, if any editor has written any newspaper article, you need to understand his style of writing, how he introduced, for what questions he has given answers, how he ended. So the requirement is you need to question out of the article. Even the newspaper magazine also, you need to question out of the articles given. Okay, this is quite a bad idea. Of course you can memorize the things, but apart from memorizing, the brain storming, which I have told, analyzing the content is the essential thing that remains forever. You may forget the rote learned things, but analyzing is what is required for this exam to be cracked.